Welcome to the channel and welcome back to another car review. And today we're in the 2008 Volkswagen R32. And the R32 is powered by the most excellent VR6, and it's made it to a DSG transmission. And it's only in the United States though, because in Europe you could get that manual transmission. Here they just decided not to, and they also decided you couldn't get the 4-door, you could only get the 2-door. It is also a 1-year only car for the US. They only made 5,000 of them, and they're numbered, and this one is 4,081. Like I said, this does have a flappy paddle gearbox, so you can just use the flappy paddles to get down, and it makes an awesome sound. This car has a Miltech full exhaust system, including high-flow cats. It's also on suspension. It sits a little bit lower. It takes this corner very nicely, and then down here, and we're gonna unleash the Wookiee. Man, that sounds so freaking amazing. Getting on the brakes, very nice. Stop deck rotors in this one. Second gear now, got on the top of the rev range. Man, these sounds that you get from this is absolutely amazing. Now the VR6 is kind of a weird engine. If you look at the top of the engine, you can kind of see why, because they call it the VR6 even though it says a V6 on the top of the engine to, well, stop people from asking questions. You can kind of see that the plug wires are very close together, too close to be a proper V6, I suppose. Now, like an inline 6, this has a single head, so the exhaust side is on one side and the intake side is on the other, so you get one header. This car actually also has a header on it, so it's a lot louder than it would be stock. Like my Passat GT doesn't sound like this at all. VR6 actually stands for V as in V engine and then Reihenmotor, which means inline in German. And I probably butchered that, and if I did, I apologize. We also got to do this thing over here. Yeah. Noises, all the freaking Wookiee noises. I love it, man. This is crazy fun. Man, it moves from a dig, boys. It moves. Now this 4-wheel drive system is called a Haldex system, and it's actually biased to the front, but as soon as it detects wheel spin, like really early because I didn't hear any, it sends that power to the back, so it freaking moves, boys. The reason why this engine exists at all is because Volkswagen wanted an engine that they could put transversely in between the front wheels, like all the front wheel drive cars that they were producing. However, they wanted more power, and back in 91, displacement was 100% key. So a V6 would be too wide to fit in a small engine bay. And when it comes down to an inline six, well, it would be too long. It just wouldn't fit. So the only option was to grab an inline engine and do this. And thus the VR6 was born. Now the reason why I love this engine so much is the sound. It sounds so different compared to all the other V6s. And the reason for that is these intake and especially the exhaust runners, they are different lengths. So you get this, well, awesome noise. Just Wookiee sounds, man. Wookiee sounds for days. I love it. These brakes are great too. And it holds this corner as well. Like I said, it is on suspension. Oh man. One thing I also noticed is that the gears in this, they just freaking wind out. Very, very, very long gears. But I'm fine with it because it just means that you get the noise just a little bit longer. Now, when we go to the styling of the car, this is definitely 100% a Volkswagen Golf. You kind of see the MK4 in there still, because the MK4 was a huge departure from the MK3. Like, it's like Volkswagen cut off the old style Golfs completely with that new one. And a lot of people didn't like it, but for me, because it was so thick, I loved it. And I would also ride past an R32 every single time I went to the grocery store on my bicycle. And I'm like, dude, that is just a beautiful car. And I saw it for years until, well, I essentially moved to the United States. Now this one is an evolution of that. It's just not as thick anymore. Now I've been driving this car in manual, and that is, according to the owner, the only way to do it. And it just shows how nice this transmission is. Even though this is an earlier generation, you don't get like the DSG pops. It's still very quick. The RPMs at 60 are about 2,400, which is not crazy high, and the exhaust actually quiets down too. When you're like cruising at 55, it drones a fair bit, but now it is completely fine. Now here we go, 55 miles an hour, you hear a little bit of that drone, but as soon as you hit 60 and you let off the gas, it is very nice and quiet. 2,400 RPM, great stuff. Now we get over to the interior styling, and there's one thing that I miss in my current Passat GT, and that is the gauges. At night, they light up blue, and that was a thing with Volkswagens of the era, and I freaking love it. Another thing we bring up, of course, in the interior is interior room. Volkswagens historically have great room inside where I'm sitting, and also behind me. I can sit behind myself, no problem, and even the owner, who is 6'1", can sit behind himself, and that is just a great testament to the usability of these cars. We got another turnaround over here. We gotta do this again, because the noise out of these cars is just amazing. And we gotta wait up here. Now, another thing that I really like about the Golfs is that you have this huge window over here, so blind spots, not really that big of a problem. And then man, that is just heaven right there. The noise that this car makes, you know, unlike any other V6, I've said it before, it just unmistakably a Volkswagen right here. No other V6 sounds the same at all. I mean, wow. Roads open, Fenderbaum. Oh, boys, man. It shifts right, it sounds right. I don't think you can get any better than this when it comes down to a Golf. Yes, the current R is way quicker than this one. But just listen to it, downshifts, man. You get on it again, you just do that on demand, man, just to be able to drive a car like this. It kind kind of makes me reconsider putting an exhaust on my Passat because it would bring the same noises. And we got to do that launch control thing again, hands down. It hits so hard. And it just leaves. I mean, it is gone, boys. Man. Oh, if you need a conclusion on this, well, the noise is it. Mark 5, Mark 4, just go for the R32, people. Just do it. And if you need another reason, these seats, they're stock Volkswagen seats. But my boys, these bolsters, they fit you perfectly. Even a bigger guy like me, I have zero complaints. So comfortable. I actually got back in my Passat and I'm like, I used to think this was a little bolstered. Nah, not at all. It's not bolstered at all. Because when you go through a corner like this, my Passat seats don't hold me like this. And I freaking love the way this car quarters, man. And then, oh yeah. Man. Cody, I cannot thank you enough for letting me drive your R32, man. What a great car. I freaking love this thing. Corners, the sound, and it still looks unmistakably Volkswagen, boys. Yes. Oh, goodness, man. I love this car. I love it. I hope you guys enjoyed this car review, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. I'm liking this already. Oh, that drone though.
Yeah, it's got a fair bit of drone when you're just like being normal.
So it's a turning circle on this. That ain't bad at all.
No, not bad for an all-wheel drive car. But the cool thing is if you floor it all the way, like without touching the paddles, just floor it. I love doing that.
That is pretty sick, man. Oh god, that sound, man.
Yeah, and I thought about getting a GTI, but I was like, I want the sound. I'm more of a sound guy. I don't really care about it being the fastest car ever. I want to hear it, and that's why I got this instead.
Yeah, because like my Passat GT just isn't. It doesn't have that sound. I mean, it has the sound, but it's not as pronounced as this. Like, this is like perfection right here.
And even the stock exhaust was fairly loud, and it has a valve in it. Unbeknownst to me, when I got the car, the valve had already been plugged, and so it was open all the time. And I was like, wow, this is fairly loud for being enclosed.
Yeah.
I thought I could hear it open, but it was just the intake switching.
Oh, okay.
But it was fairly loud, and that's why honestly it took me a little while to actually like, okay, I kind of want to get an exhaust now, and because it was a good exhaust. I mean, it's a fairly small exhaust because there isn't really much room under the car.
No. It's a VR. Actually, it's a little dirty. You can put an R there. You can see it.